I've been investing in Africa and visiting Africa now for almost 30 years. I was the first person stupid enough to actually go and look for investments in Africa at a time when the rest of the world thought Africa was an economic black hole. And I'm glad to say it's worked out pretty well for me. One of the things that particularly annoys me about Western or Northern Hemisphere involvement with Africa is people like Bono and Bob Geldof go there and infantilize Africans by behaving as if they can't do anything for themselves without getting aid from has-been Irish pop singers. When I met Alice and we began discussing what she was doing some 7 or 8 years ago, I was really interested to hear about World Film Collective, because one of the things I obsess about is trying to give Africans a voice so that they can get their voice heard around the world without white people putting themselves there as intermediaries. And since then I've developed, through a foundation I set up, giving writing scholarships and sponsoring writing festivals in Africans to allow them to do that. The World Film Collective really resonated with me, because here was Alice and the people working with her proposing to go out and find people, most of them living in terrible circumstances, whose voices could not be heard. And by teaching them how to make films, and by teaching them how to get those films uploaded onto websites, she was going to give them a voice. So instead of being dumb and heard by no one, they could be heard literally around the world. And this seemed to me like a brilliantly empowering idea. There'd be no white intermediaries, they'd make their own films and they'd upload them. All Alice needed to do was to source mobile phones and teach them actually how to make the films and how to edit them. So it seemed like a brilliant idea. She was at the time finding it a little bit difficult to raise the money she needed, and I've always been a believer that you shouldn't, I'd rather be a catalyst than a crutch, I guess. So I gave Alice a reasonably substantial amount of money on the condition that she then matched it with funding from other people. She's a very energetic and charming person, as all of you know, and she went out and she bullied other people into giving her an equivalent amount of money. And that's what helped World Film Collective get started. And I'm really proud that I was able to be associated with it in its early days. And since then, I've continued to give it support as well. It's not going to go on in exactly the same form it's been, but I really like the dream behind World Film Collective. I love Alice's energy in helping people to get their voices heard who are living in, as it might be, the jungle in Calais, and I'm really proud to have played a part in that.